good evening, one and all, and welcome to another edition of the Full-Time Sports Network's Cop Talk. And see, this is what I say, Doctor, man. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter, win, lose, or draw. Be here, man. Enough man,
Have to be, bro. Have to be. Have to be.
enough man chatting nonsense about, oh, you're going to be hiding, you still doing your show, and you know what I mean? We'll take the rough with the smooth, even though we've had a lot more smooth than rough. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. Good evening, Doctor. Good evening. How you doing, sir?
I'm well, man. I'm well. I'm refocused. I think in many ways, the game against United was obviously very disappointed, but sometimes there's blessings when you don't expect it. And I'm hoping that defeat's going to refocus the squad for the one trophy, let's be honest, that really matters, and that's the Premier League. So all good.
Okay. Good evening, VW. How you doing, sir? Can't hear you, bro.
Can you hear me now?
That's a bit better, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you guys? All right?
Yeah, not too bad,
Well,
man.
man.
Not too bad. Not
Good,
too
good,
bad.
good, good.
Vinny's just moving about. 1 minute, look, he was about to graffiti a wall.
Yeah.
Now he's in some
Yeah.
big drum. You know what I mean? Like some
Yeah,
penthouse.
I got the piano there, man. You know what I
Easy.
mean?
Easy.
Do you know what? I realized it. See, the last time he was in that background or in that house, like
Yeah, I was in my
looks
little.
like, and I tell you what it looks like. You know, when you watch them shows like Homelands or 24, and it's like
Yeah.
a top level FBI kind of informant, and he's in hiding in it, like he's in a mad safe house somewhere.
Comfort, yeah.
But he's in a safe
Good
house
evening,
still.
Demas. How you doing, sir? Demas, tell me
I said good
something.
evening as well, you know.
Yeah, I know. How you doing, Demas? Let me know, brother. Tell me something. Are you guys going to win the title then? Tell me if you really think you can do it. Let me know in the comments. So, we are talking about FA Cup defeat to Man United. And now I'm going to start it off with first and foremost. The first question I'm going to ask, lads, is did Man United win or did we throw it away?
Vinny.
Not throw away. Dash it away, mate. Dash it away. Dash it away.
I was talking so everybody could understand me, that's all.
Funny enough, my brother, I spoke to my brother the following day, right? He's not a Man United fan. My big brother, but he thought I was being quite spoiled or a sore loser. He said, why are you carrying on? I said, listen, they didn't win. I said, they're not a good team. I said, I do not think they're a good team. I think that we gave them that victory, all right? We should have been out of sight, okay? And we didn't take our chances, and it came back to haunt us. Plain and simple. So I would say, yes, they've got good players. They've definitely got good players. But we went to their ground with, 4 or 5 players out from our first team, and we're dominating them in the second half. We should have been out of sight. So that's what I say, that we threw it away. And they've got players who can win games, and they're at their home ground as well. Do you get what I'm saying? So they've got that momentum to go and catch up and get back into the game. And also, it just kind of reminded me very much of back in the 90s or the early 2000s in reverse, where they were the dominant team, and we would have, our teams would be indifferent, our seasons would be indifferent.
Yeah.
But it would come to that game and we would pull it out of the bag. Somehow we would have a great game, or we'll push them as far as we could. And that's the best way I can put it. But I genuinely feel that we threw it away.
Before I get to you, Doctor, let me just see. Demas said, hell yeah. He believes that Arsenal are going to win the league. Okay. That's a lot of ifs, yeah? If we beat City, Spurs, and Man United, big if. That is a big if. It's a lot to ask, Demas. It's a lot to ask. But I tell you what, I did say before, you lot are looking a lot stronger than last season. I believe you've learned a lot of valuable lessons, and you made a good acquisition in Declan Rice. Just sometimes your downfall may be that you haven't got a number 9. That may be the downfall, you lot. So, Doctor, did Man United win or did we throw it away?
Yeah, listen, I echo a lot of what Vinny just said, man. As I was saying to a few Man U fans today, I actually watch quite a lot of Man U because they're the one team who I enjoy seeing losing the most. And this season, you know, there's a good chance that if you're gonna watch Man U, they're either gonna lose or they're gonna get outplayed. And they're sixth, which is probably a bit of a false league position because they should probably be about 10th because they have won a lot of games where they've been outplayed.
Yep. Yep.
It was Paul's ghosted it that Man U are the only team that can win 5-0 and still get battered. Like most Man U games, like a cup final. So the way that game was against us, that's been their whole season. So they're used to that in games. They're literally used to playing in games where they're getting licks and they find a way to win the game. Like Big Scott has become like their talisman.
Gosh, this guy.
Yeah, because this is what their season is. So for me, I echo Vinny's points. I just think I'm always worried about Man U simply because I always feel we play the fixture and not the team in front of us. And then even when we battered them, so the 7-0 last season, for the first 45 minutes, well, probably for the first 35 minutes, it was actually a pretty close game.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it 5-0 or 5-1 we gave them at Old Trafford 2 seasons ago?
I think there's a 5-0 in it.
Was it 5-0 or the 5-1? Well, yeah. That game. Again, for the first 20 minutes, we always seem to look a bit nervous against United. It's almost like the fans get into the players' heads, and we just basically treat Man U like they're a much better team than what they are. And I think that's what we did on Sunday for the first 15, 20 minutes or so. Yesterday did show some quality, but going back to Vinny's point, when we start to show our levels in that second half, the disparity between the teams was so vast. You're never meant to lose that game from that position. You're just never meant to lose that game. Like we were completely different levels then, opening it up at 2-1, and you knew they were about to fold. It's not like they're a team that you make it 3-1 and they're going to fight back. They're going to crumble because we've seen it happen in recent seasons. And all we needed to do was just show a bit of class and quality and just get that third goal done. So I think this is why many Liverpool fans were so frustrated in it, because it's almost like these lot are not good. They're not good, and we showed our superiority against them, but yet we've still lost the game. So I think, look, we definitely lost the game, and I think if there's one benefit that might come, well, there's 2 benefits that might come from the game. It might focus us for the Premier League, and it might make Sir Jim Ratcliffe decide to keep Eric Ten Hag for next season. So, yeah, man, every cloud's got a silver lining. So, yeah.
I don't business. He can keep Ten Hag or he can get in Gareth Southgate.
Mate, that'd be even better, to be fair. Yeah, that'd be even better.
None of them. As Steven said, don't need a number 9. We spent 60 million down the drain. Kai Havertz scores again.
Yeah, I think the guys were tired as well. I think I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to go too hard on them because I think they've done exceptionally well this season, and particularly in the last few weeks. If you look at the situations we are in as a team in terms of what we've got to select from, I'm so super proud of these guys and what Klopp has been able to achieve with this team. Because I watched on TalkSport. What's his name? Is it Rory Jennings?
Yeah.
He said, and what I might say, it might sound disparaging, and what he said might sound disparaging, but I'm looking at it from a different perspective. He said that we are the worst team out of the top 3. We're most probably the worst team with the best manager. And I think he's talking about in terms of the player selection we've got currently at this moment in time available to us and how we're performing. Do you know what I mean? So not to say that we're the worst team from that on a wider scale, but just in terms of what we've got to select from and play on that at this moment in time isn't as much as what anyone else has got. But the way we're playing, I was like, That's what makes it frustrating. But we could have
Mm.
put it to bed. We could have put it to
Mhm.
bed and been out of sight. The fact that they get Coventry in the next round is, well, that could have been us getting Coventry.
Yeah,
Do you get what I mean?
100%.
And it's
100%.
yeah. And there's a few
Yes
players.
and no, V. Yes
Yeah?
and no, V. I think, look, we have to be realistic. If we had beaten them, we're drawing Man City or Chelsea, bro. That's just the way it is for us. Like, we don't get that draw. We do not get that
You know
draw.
what? I thought the same thing. You know, when I saw it, I said, I bet you if we'd have beaten them, we would never have got Coventry.
You think so?
Like,
Yeah.
we get tough draws regularly.
Yeah.
And even when, okay, so this just moving off on a side tangent slightly. Some rivals would be like, yeah, but you got Spurs in the Champions League final. And you have to be like, okay, fair enough. That is true. But what's also true is we had the group of death and we had the Yugoslavian team. I can't remember what their names are, what the name of that side is. I should know, it'll come to me. Anyway, they were a strong team. We also had Napoli and PSG. That's when PSG were cooking back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Knockout stages. Bayern Munich, very good at the time. Barcelona, very good at the time. And yes, after beating all of those teams, we then get Spurs. But let's make it right, innit?
Yeah.
Like we had to play tough teams to get there. And Spurs
were cooking at the time.
And Spurs beat Man City to get to the Champions League final as well. So
exactly, Spurs were doing bits.
So I just think,
man,
we get tough
them
draws, man.
over 2 legs. Come on, it's not an accident.
Yeah.
You know, if in a one-off game, you say okay, but over 2 legs.
And like our last FA Cup, I was going to say, our last FA Cup win. What was it? Man City in the semis, and then Chelsea, and Chelsea were strong back then. Like this FA Cup run, fact that we've been away to Arsenal and away to Man U. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
and you know what? We had and also factor in that we had a out of sorts Salah coming back from injury, playing, and I don't know if we're going to talk about him later, but a very okay. I don't even need to say
we have
CG
to.
man.
We have to.
CG man.
Yeah,
he's so vanilla for me at the moment. He's so indifferent, man. I just don't get it, man.
Who?
Gakpo.
Cody.
Oh,
you know,
man needs to take some kind of testosterone shots or something, man, or that Tonka Ali thing, or like whatever them youths are taking, or as someone said, or someone needs to kidnap his dad like Diaz, but something needs to happen, man.
Nah, man. That's a bit strong.
That's what I thought, innit? But boy, like you see Diaz's dad right now, boy, man's vibing.
What?
Man's vibing.
Yeah.
He's vibing.
Yeah.
And Diaz is playing better as well. So.
Yeah. And another thing, sorry, another thing for me, not to try and take over the show, but another thing, right, was
talk, man.
Why did we try and win the game? This is the other thing. I think we're getting a bit too gassed on these last minute winners, right? I don't think we need that corner. We should have just gone for the penalties, man. I don't think we needed to try and win the game at that point. We were knackered. My thing was just
but it's not even
that
out,
man.
It was what do you call it? Endo coming onto the ball, and Elliot must have shouted him to take over, and he left it for Elliot, and Elliot lost the ball. Should have just left. And the thing was, if Endo was running directly towards goal, forward onto the ball towards goal, whereas Elliot was coming from the side. So where was he planning to go? I have no idea. He's running across the pitch, whereas Endo was actually going towards goal. So if anything, you know what? He could have hit it first time. He would have been hitting it towards goal. I don't know where Elliot was planning to go.
Yeah, and I love Nunes to bits, but what he done was an absolute madness.
Do you know what? 2 things that wind me up. 2 things I'm gonna say. So when we broke just before that, I think we had them 4-on-2, and he let the player come back at him and lose the ball, which was really poor. I think he had Elliot on the right hand side and someone else, and then Diaz on his left hand side that he could have passed to, and somebody was running through the middle as well for him, and he chose not to pass to nobody, and then someone came from behind him and won the ball. And then to give away the ball like that, where he did, was just
Sloppy.
sloppy. Isn't the word, man. Sloppy isn't the word. It's nonsense. Nonsense. For me as well, what I am going to ask you to then. So being at them points in the game, do you not think it's the manager's duty to make sure that game management to see out the game? Like you were saying, Vinny, about we didn't need to win the game, or whatever. At them points, they're 2-1 up, 3-2 up. Why are you not just taking the ball down in the corner and holding the ball?
So I would always see. I think there's a balance, right? I think we can still try and win the game whilst not opening ourselves up for the counter attack. And for whatever reason, we've done that before. So when I say done that, I mean we've put Elliot in that position where he's almost like the second, or he's like there's only one defender deeper than him. So it was the same. It literally was the same mistake against Arsenal for the Trossard goal, where he does that little skill and he goes through Elliot and someone else, and then obviously he's through. And maybe that's the role that our right-sided midfielder takes up as a certain player. But I just think you need to have that player have a level of athleticism. And we know Elliot is intense, he presses, he's aggressive, but he's not athletic in it. So there's no point having Harvey Elliott in that position where he may need to defend the counter-attack in his huge space, because once he's out of the game, mate, you might have had Reece Williams trying to run back. Like it weren't happening. So I think we need to be a bit cuter in our setups about how we're trying to win the game. But I just feel, I don't know, man. Even the finish was like, Kelleher, could you have saved that? But then P rollers, I don't know, innit? It's just frustrating.
Do you know something as well, though? I think there's pros and cons. Less cons and more pros, but indeed there are pros and cons to how we play, right? Because like the heavy metal football comes with a bit of I think, emotional kind of an emotional energy to it. And let me try and quantify my point. If we look at someone like Benitez, right? If that was a Benitez team, yeah, they ain't losing once they go 2-1 in front. Yeah.
Nah.
We'll kill that game dead, right? It would sterilize it. Yeah. Because of Klopp, we play on the edge. We play on the edge. And I think at times now we need to learn how to. I can't even say we need to learn, but because it's an embodiment of the manager. What you get is an embodiment of the manager, but we just needed to be a little bit more measured. Do you know what I mean? You're away, you're at Old Trafford, you've got them, right? Just neutralize it, kill them.
That's what I mean.
And the worst thing,
sterilize the game.
And on that, it's like it's interesting, right? Because in previous weeks, Klopp's been turning to the young players in these moments where the game is still on, when the game's finally balanced, and it's like these young players are showing a level of poise and composure that some of the older players weren't, because that counter attack that Cody was leading, that the one that was 5-on-2 when he ends up doing that idiot pass and Elliot, and just Jesus Christ. When we're breaking, Conor Bradley's racing through with Harvey Elliott, and then he stops running, and I was just like, it makes sense, because he's just like, rah, yes, I'm a youth, but I recognize we need to be thinking about, if this goes wrong, who's in position to stop them from attacking us. And this is where I like when players are smart. Bradley's just like, we don't need 5-man running through it right now. It's 4 against 2. Let me hold my position. And in many ways, the younger players have shown a bit more tactical awareness than what some of our squad players have. And it's interesting to kind of observe that, because I'm thinking, right, why is Bradley stop running? Makes sense, isn't it? Because he's defensively aware at all times.
Thank you. Very true. Very true. This is what I'm talking about, though. game management. For me, I'll never forget one time we had I think it was a cup game. No, it's a league game actually, a league game, coaching the youngsters, 2-1 up, and we was 1-0 down. You know, giving them the team talk, whatever, at half time, and these lot have come out, and my boys have just gone hell for leather at these boys now, up their game, you know what I mean? Hell for leather, 2-1 up, and they're still going hell for leather. And I'm trying to tell them to, like, you know what, calm down now, calm down. There's only minutes to go. And they're still going at it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, they're in the zone. But we lose the ball. They break, they score. 2-2. With that. And then, like, I think we kicked off, passed it back, kicked it forward, and the ref blew the whistle. I lost my shit, man. That's it. And you know what made it worse? What made it worse for me though was I'd lost my shit, and then I when they was walking off, they knew I was mad. They could see I was mad, and then I said, "All right, hold on, let me just calm down a minute." Bit my tongue. As they came over, after they shook hands and they came over, I said to them, "What should you lot have done?" And they said we should have just kept the ball and that. And I said, then I lost my shit even more because you lot knew exactly what you should have done. I didn't have to tell you. You knew what you should have done.
Yeah.
Just manage the game, man. And we did it twice. 2-1 and 3-2 twice.
Yeah. And we knew we were under the cosh as well. That's the thing. We knew we were under the
You're
cosh.
away from home. You know what? What gets their backs up even more? To frustrate them even more. Hold the ball in the corner. You know what? Go down, kick it off them for our throw, whatever. Take your time. I don't care for taking time. I don't care.
But that's not who we are. That's the thing, innit?
And worst thing is, we were playing around their press. But you know what, Vin? See, I think we are that now a little bit, simply because of just the ballers we've got in midfield. I feel like we've got guys who keep the ball a bit better now.
Of course.
It's almost like players that have got the skill set to make better decisions just started doing nonsense, man. And I just think it shouldn't be Conor Bradley thinking to himself, I don't need to run forward right now because there's 5 of us. Like we need that kind of awareness from the senior pros as well. Like Connor's a youth. He's not meant to be having that level of defensive awareness. He's meant to be bombing forward. But I just think, we need that from everyone else, man. And it's like these guys just lost their heads. And I just think if you are going to run forward, you better make sure you score. 5-on-2s and you're doing that.
No.
Like we had what? What did he say? It was a 4-on-2 and a 5-on-2. And we were so poor, we didn't even impact the XG.
No, we didn't.
Like it or not, right? Like it or not, if Hendo Milner were playing, you don't lose that game.
Hey, I'm telling you on my screen. Seriously.
Am I lying?
Yes, you're lying.
If Hendo's playing, you don't lose that game, mate.
Listen, Kobe Maynard would have had a field day around them two. He would have had a field day, mate. Listen, I guarantee Milner gets booked. I guarantee that.
Hendo would have lost his voice shouting at someone. But actually, it's the interesting point in a sense, and I think this is where sometimes we have to take a step back and think, okay, let's just look at this and not become too emotionally engaged. And a one midfielder who does frustrate because he does hold on to the ball a bit too long is Curtis Jones. So Curtis Jones on that game, perfect. Give him the ball, he holds on to it, gives it sideways, he takes it back, and he manages it. Hence why Jones often gives us control. So I think we have to recognize that some of our better players were missing and that impacted, because let's just be realistic. If Jota's on that pitch with those chances, he's not messing about. He's not messing about.
Yes,
he's slapping in goals. He's slapping in goals.
Yeah.
So
you see on that, you see what you're talking about there with the Curtis Jones point. So my thing is going to be with that now. What's your feelings now about Szoboszlai? Because my thing is, I feel like he's just come back, so he's not up to his best for me right now. And his performance showed me that.
Yeah. You can see that Endo and Mac 10 have got a certain kind of rhythm and confidence in terms of how they're taking the ball, manipulating it, giving it. And you can see Szoboszlai looks a little bit untidy is the wrong word, but a bit unsure of himself. He's playing safe. He's not doing what he was doing before. He's not as confident in his ball manipulation and the way he's driving and taking shots. So for me, he's gaining rhythm. And I just think to myself, we have to remember that different players react differently after they come back from injuries. And the reality is, this is a player who, before he's come to LFC, fortunately or unfortunately, like, has rarely been injured. So he's been out for what, 2.5, 3 months now? This might be the longest injury break he's had in his whole career. Like, he's a man who's used to playing. And he's coming to the team and everyone's set. And I just think, yeah, it makes sense that he's needed a bit of time. And also as well, you got to think as well, we brought him back. He then got injured. He's been re-injured. So you don't know what his training's been like. Have they been pushing him? So this, like I'm a bit cautious with how I'm seeing him. And even Trent, because if you remember the Arsenal game at the Emirates, Trent, even by Trent standard, it was an appalling defensive display. Like, it wasn't even trying.
Yeah,
and then no surprise. The guy's re-injured his knee. So kind of how fit is he? So I just think I'm a bit mindful with how I'm seeing these guys when they come back from injuries, because I don't know what the medical team are doing. Because even Mo, I thought against, it was Brentford, right? He had that cameo half, innit? I thought against Brentford, okay, he missed that early chance when he went through on goal. But I thought against Brentford, it's the sharpest I've seen him look in months in his first game back, or that first sub-appearance back. For me, he looks sharper against Brentford than he's done since he's now come back. Now he's fully fit. So, yeah, I don't know how they've been training them this time. Maybe they've just been a bit more cautious just to ensure that, like, they don't get re-injured rather than pushing them. So, but yeah, I can definitely agree that Dom isn't Dom right now. He's not. Like, we can see that.
I think on the Salah point, I think Salah just has a natural fitness.
Yeah.
You know, one of them guys, if he's out, it doesn't take long to get back to full fitness. Some people take longer than others, but he just seems like he's just got a natural fitness about him. You know what I mean? I'm back 2 training sessions and bam, I can go and play. Because you remember, I think, was it when he came, what game was it? And he had to end up playing longer than originally. He had to play the full game.
That's on Thursday, isn't it?
They wanted to take him off. Was it
Thursday game?
The Sparta game. They actually wanted to take him off because I think their plan was give him an hour. You know what I mean? Start building back up his fitness and then to take him off. And then
Bobby Clark was struggling.
Bobby Clark, that's it, got injured and had to come off. And he ended up playing the whole game. But you know what I mean? He was capable to do that.
Not great, man.
Yeah, he
not
was
great.
capable to do that. But yeah. Yeah, so, well.
Frustrating, isn't it, gents? It is just frustrating, especially when you're better than the team and the team have been doing so well, because then even as fans, you don't want to be too overcritical simply because of how great they've been, the lads. But it's Man U, and now you've got Man U fans talking the hardest. It's like, lads,
oh my gosh,
you're in 6th place.
Talking the
this is meant to be 10. This is meant to be Ten Hag, aka the end of dynasties season, to be ending dynasties, and you're in 6th. So like, settle yourself, innit?
No, but this is what's giving them talk, because they are in 6th and they're talking about we're in for the title and they're beating us, but they know they weren't supposed to win that game.
But the thing is, they're meant to be in for the title
based on what the money, based on their net spend and Klopp's net spend during his time at Liverpool and Ten Hag's net spend. I saw some little video short on it the other day. It's a madness, but I think you're right, Dr. Blake, in the fact that it's the frustration. We most probably sound like we're really being negative about it, but it's not. Again, I'm so proud of this team at this moment in time. I think maybe also, and I'll just share it, where maybe my frustration is coming into it, is that I do have genuine concerns about us, the way we are now. in terms of what we've got in players at our disposal. And then by the time certain players are coming back, I am worried about the league. So I'm more of the, and I think we've done a poll in one of the chats, and I think the cups are going to give us our best chance of real great success this season.
Yeah.
So now losing that FA Cup is bit, man, you know what I mean? But you know, you never know. The Champions League draws could work in our favour in terms of those games what those teams are going to potentially have to play if they win and knock those teams out. Those teams, like, you know, so that could work in our favor. But I don't want to jump ahead to that. But that was my thing. That's where it was coming from for me. It's man, could have had a good, could have been.
Yeah. See, I think I'm a bit I think I'm a bit more optimistic than that on the basis that see, because as I was saying with Szoboszlai, I do look at players of, okay, when are you fit to play the game versus when are you when are you match fit? So we're gonna have players coming back, and it's gonna take them a couple of weeks to get match fit 100. Yeah. So it's almost like Trent may be back for this game, but when are we really gonna see Trent? I just think we're gonna have enough players match fit for the last, say, 6-7 league games of the season where we can get the best of our key players. Everything like Kanate was close to playing, so we're gonna be able to really rotate the centre backs again. Curtis Jones is going to be back, so when Dom nips, Curtis Jones is going to play. Dom's going to have 2 weeks now training with Hungary. He's going to play for Hungary. So I do think our players are going to find a level of match sharpness. Jota, when he does come back, probably won't be match sharp, and he probably won't be playing that well. But we know Jota doesn't need to play well; he just needs to he's just dead eye. So I do think, and look, I've been critical of him on this show on many occasions, and more through disappointment. But I think Diaz is going to have some super clutch moments coming up for the rest of the season, because
he better do.
Because it's weird if Diaz, right?
He was another one who looked shattered though.
But because he puts in so much,
he looked shattered.
Because he puts in so much. But I feel like, see, with Diaz, it's almost like start of the season, he was almost being more clinical and was more of the goal threat. But I was more frustrated because I was just like, nah, Diaz, I need you to be like taking the ball and relieving stress and keeping it and beating players and causing havoc. Like, this is what you do. Yes, if you're clinical, it's helpful, but you not being able to beat your fullback by being clinical doesn't help the team. But I feel like now he's better at dribbling and beating players and playing off the cuff. I think those attributes will be quite helpful for us coming up, because I tell you what he's going to do, like he did against Man, it's weird against, like, if you think about like Man City, right? He almost was man of the match and cost us the game, right? Like he did both things. But you know, all these big players like Bernardo Silvas, your Rodriguez, your Kyle Walkers, you see when they're getting dumped on the pitch, their head goes, and then everything falls apart. I almost feel like Diaz, and just how he just destroys opponents, can almost just like make a team lose absolute confidence and lose their heads. And yeah, I generally think he's going to have a very strong end to the season, man, because he's playing with absolute belief right now. Because so I'm confident, man, and Darwin is gonna be clinical, man. Salah's gonna be better.
Like, you know, sorry, go on, mate.
No, I was just gonna say, no, I'm finished, man.
Do you know what? It's funny, right? Like, a couple of things. Diaz frustrates me, I'm not gonna lie, because he's got all the tools in the kit bag. But it's like that final nail with his hammer, he can't find the right nail, and I find that frustrating, man. Like that man, that opportunity against Man City, anyone else is burying that, right?
Yeah.
And it's just typical of him that he does all the hard work and then doesn't finish off. Do you know what it's like? It's funny. It's almost like Darwin. He's almost like he's more raw than Nunes.
Yeah, he's a street
that
baller.
aspect.
Yeah, like he's
You know
a
what I mean?
street baller.
Like Nunes is more polished than him now, right? That's what I personally feel, right? When it comes to like finishing. But the other thing that makes me laugh is when I think now about if you go back a year ago and we were talking about Darwin Nunes in this group and on this channel and how people were like, nah, he's not ready. I'm not saying necessarily on the panel, but the general concept, the jury was out and there was a lot of us in this group said, nah, he's going to need time. He's going to need time.
Oh, listen,
Give
V,
him
I'll
time
be honest
to
with you,
come
bro.
through. Listen,
I was
I'm
telling
over the
you.
moon with it now. Really?
Listen, I was loaning him out. I was loaning him out. Like,
wow.
I can't take it back because you know what it is? It's like my thing was, it's funny because now you think back to it. Last
all
season,
the signs were there, though. All the signs were there. He's a revelation, mate. He's a revelation.
Yeah. Okay. So my thing with last season was I was frustrated with Klopp. I was frustrated with the failure to reinvest in new players. I was frustrated by what I saw of Michael Edwards leaving and then Ward going and this lack of transfer planning. I was just like, what are you doing? And then the one player who you bought, who's clearly your player, can't do nothing. Because my thing was with Darwin last season, it wasn't even the finishing. Because I didn't mind that. It was everything else. It was an all-round game. It was the link-up play. It was the pressure. I was just like, what is this Brer doing? And he's cost eventually £84 million. Now, we're going to talk about him like in a second. Darwin was so bad. He made Cody look world-class when Cody came in. All Cody was doing was just finding a teammate last year. But compared to Darwin, he looked like Bergkamp. Like, it was nuts. It was crazy last season. It was nuts. Anyway, but yeah.
We are definitely, gentlemen. Okay, so let's talk Cody Gakpo, Vinny. Let's talk Cody Gakpo.
I don't know, bruv. Do you know what? He's got tall, good-looking guy. Pause. Got all the attributes, right?
Where did this pause thing come from?
Man, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just saying, innit?
Like,
you know what I mean?
Like time out, Vinny. Hold on. 1 second. It's just a quick time out. Where did this pause thing come in? Every group I'm in, a man saying, yeah, like so and so, and now pause. I'm like, hold on, where did this
I don't know.
thing
Listen,
come
it's a mad world out here, innit?
You have to put a pause on certain speech, bro.
Yeah, because listen, people take things all. People, what do you mean
take
by
it
that?
literal?
So,
take it literal.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
you
so
I mean?
you have to put a pause on certain speech.
You have to put a pause on this, 100%. So, yeah, he's just jarring me, man, at the moment, man. He's got everything, and it just ain't coming together consistently enough. And like in games like that, when you need him to show up, he's becoming part of the wallpaper. He's fading into the background.
We spoke about him. I think was it last week or was it last week? Wait, Doctor.
Week before, I think.
Week before, so we spoke about him as well. And
I hope he don't become another Ryan Babel.
Came up with though was him not getting regular game time, number one, and regular game time in a regular position consistently. That was one of the things that we came up with. That Man United game definitely wasn't one of his better to come into. But
yeah, because you rate him, don't you, Artie? Like you like him, innit? Like
man, I think that there's a player in there. I know there's a player in there. I know there is a player in there. I don't care what anybody says. There's a player in there. It's just to find that position to play him and to play him consistently. And I think it's hard for him because I think one of his best positions is off the left. And when you've got Diaz and Jota ahead of you, it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. So unless the squad is going to play like with you as a false nine, like a Bobby role.
And
He's not Bobby, but he's got the attributes to play the role.
I do feel for Cody because I do like him as a footballer and I do want him to do well, but I think sometimes we have to accept that maybe players just aren't good signings. And I think, and I say that from the perspective of I feel like what a lot of the fans are moaning about Cody for, I just think this is who Cody is. Like Cody's 6'4", but plays like he's 5'5". Cody doesn't play with intensity or aggression. He doesn't have that aggressive off the ball running. Like he's basically, as you said, he's made his name from playing from the left. He's a ball to feet winger. You give him the ball, he cuts in and he tries to shoot or he tries to find the cross. Like this is what he is. Like he's not somebody who's aggressive and intense and's got that, say, like a South American or a Diaz. That I feel like in many ways, a lot of what the fans are cussing him for, he's never had these things.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's hard to cuss someone for something that they never had. You have to think to yourself, like, maybe we shouldn't have signed him if you wanted a Liverpool forward to do different types of things. I just feel like he like Cody is Cody and he's not gonna be what some fans want him to be. And I just think we have to appreciate for what he can do well, but he is frustrating, man, because you want him to show a bit of fight and challenge of the year, and he just seems like he's a bit of he just lacks any kind of aggression, and he must reminds you like when I used to watch and then for Arsenal, and I think to myself, shoulder guard someone, like do something. Like, but I just think this is who Cody is, and I feel like this is why I'm quite open-minded about it, because I just think now Edwards is back. These types of signings I just don't see happening moving forward. I just think that the players, if you sign moving forward, are gonna fit the profile, because look, I think we all rate Ryan Gravenberch and we believe in his talent, but if Pep Linders and Klopp are saying that our identity is our intensity, or is it our intensity is our identity, or vice versa, Cody Gakpo and Ryan Gravenberch don't fit into that. So on some level, you got to think.
Yeah, but neither does Jota, though.
Yeah, but I think Jota is intense in a sense of, if you think about the injury that Jota had against Brentford, right, where the guy's fallen on his knee, he's made like 2 aerial challenges in the space of about 4 seconds. So he's physical, like his pressing is still good. He gets involved and he's aggressive in how he plays the game. He might not be as slick as maybe what we would like. But
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, Doctor. Seriously, because there's a lot of times, and he's another one who seems to me like they're strolling around when we ain't got the ball. To be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Maybe when we haven't got the ball, he's not as active. But I just think.
But that's when we press.
Yeah, but I think he's still quite aggressive, like in that he makes challenges and he gets stuck in and like he'll challenge defenders, and like it could be Gabriel, like against Arsenal, and Jota's I don't know 6-7 inches shorter than Jota's still going to challenge for the ball in the air, and like he puts himself about. If you see what I'm saying, he's still got that physicality to his game. Hence why he wins so many headers in the box, and like he's up for the fight when someone's in front of him. That makes sense. He might not be the world's best presser, but I just think these Dutch brothers are a bit languid and a bit chilled out, man. And
smoke too much of the.
Yeah, but then I also feel
So it ended up
maybe
high.
the new management they do well, man. I think kind of maybe under Xabi Alonso, like Cody's a different type of player because Xabi Alonso is looking for slightly different things, but I just think it's harsh to judge Cody for him lacking a bit of aggression and intensity and these types of things where he's never had that.
I just hope he doesn't become a Ryan Babel. And what I mean by that is Ryan Babel had all the tools, right? Obviously, different players, different position, had all the tools, should have been a world beater, or even at least a very top echelon Premiership player at the time, but just couldn't bring it all together consistently enough. And that's what I fear for Gakpo, because remember last season against United, he ruined them, right? Was it last season? It was last season. Yeah. And he's had some really good moments this season as well. Can't deny that. But I just feel
he
that
does finish well certain times.
Yeah. Just need
that's a good finisher, man.
Now that it's a point where it's like, you know what? A lot of our first team players are out. You now need to be showing us the levels that you've been paid at to come in here. This is your opportunity. Do you know what I mean? And he's just not. I don't think he's grasping it enough. That's all. Do you know what I mean? His contributions are noted. I just don't think he's grasping enough of it.
Listen, I said a couple of weeks back, like, based on how if we're going to use him as an orthodox 9, based on how he's playing right now, if Darwin's out, I'd rather play Jayden Danns, because I know Danns is going to show some fight and push the centre back, and
he's going to show some heart
and challenge the goalkeeper. But he's also going to do things that affect the game, like come into dangerous spaces and take the ball on the half turn and move it, and he's going to show quality in a way that impacts the game as well as that whole aggression thing. So but I do agree, Cody's lack of form has come at a really bad time, even in the context of just how his game's been of late. It's a difficult one.
It is, I must say. It is.
But I did question the signing at the time on the basis that I think he's a good player, but I was just like, I know he can play different positions, but if you're saying that we've gone from basically going for Mane, Salah, Jota, Diaz, and then we sign a Cody Gakpo, okay, variety's good, but is he a typical Liverpool wide player? Like, I'm not quite sure what he is in terms of or is he just somebody who can fill in and do different roles? So actually, we just want him to be like a squad player who can fill in roles, and then fair enough.
Utility man.
Yeah. So maybe that's what his purpose was to actually be that, and therefore, if that's what his purpose is, then are we being a bit harsh on him? I don't know.
Yeah, but I still feel him being like that, you're never going to see the best of him. To be fair. You need to nail down a position. You need to play that position back to back to back to back, and I think that's when you can get to see the best of him. To be fair,
agreed.
I'd
move him on
half an hour here, and then this week you come on, you play left side. The next week you play 30 minutes down the middle. Then you play the next week you play 40 minutes in the middle of the park. It's like it's not gonna. And then the week after that you don't play. You can't build no momentum, man. Can't build no rhythm. So I find it very hard to say that you're going to see the best of him unless he nails down a position and he gets a consistent run in that position. But like I said, it's going to be hard because his best position is coming off the left, and you got Jota and Diaz to contend with. So
and then even when we played him in midfield start of the season, I thought he was poor then as well. But I'm not going to blame him for that, because so much just because you can play a role, it doesn't mean that you should be playing that role, or you can play that role to the same standards. And I go back to it's different, but I go back to Dennis Bergkamp when he moved to Inter Milan. And obviously, he was a number 10. They played him as a number 9, and he was quite disappointed in Europe. And then obviously he's moved on to Arsenal, plays in his right position. He's now one of the Premier League all-time greats. And I just think, sometimes it doesn't work out. And rather than keeping players, just move them on, man. Let players have a career and let them play somewhere else or in a system that's going to be complementary to their skill sets, man.
But also maybe with that same analogy of Bergkamp, maybe we do need to give him time, because remember, Bergkamp didn't set the world on fire when he first moved to Arsenal. It took him about a season and a half, 2 seasons maybe, before it really clicked for him. Do you know what I mean? So again, you know, like you say, maybe we are being a bit harsh. Like the way we gave Nunes a bit more time last season, do we need to do that same for Gakpo this season? But for next, you know what I mean? But the reality is he's been here now 2 seasons. That's the difference. You're now seeing the best of Nunes. We still don't know. We still haven't seen the best of Gakpo.
Yeah,
we've seen it in fleeting moments.
Once again, like we said, the issue with that is Bergkamp for me was bought to be a starter. Darwin Núñez was bought to be a starter. You can't tell me that Gakpo was bought to be a starter, because where was he going to start? And that's the issue.
Good point.
After a while, so Bergkamp's getting a run in the team because they want him to be a starter. I remember, so he's getting a run, so it's good. He can build out that relationship with Henry now, and boom, he's gone clear. This is the issue. He's not bought to be a starter for me, and so that's going to cause a problem.
It's a good point because yeah, think about it. Gakpo played a lot of minutes when he came in simply because the team playing with an orthodox 9 in Darwin wasn't working. We were way too stretched. We weren't compact at all. Secondly, because of Vinny's heroes in midfield, Henderson and Milner, our midfield was absolute garbage last year, trash can garbage, like appalling. So we needed to have that false number 9 just dropping in just to help out the midfield. So I just think Gakpo shone in many ways because the other players around him are pretty poor. Whereas I feel like this season, in the system that we're now perfecting, it works a lot better with an orthodox number 9. We don't need that person to be dropping into midfield. Because the game when he did do that was against Wolves away, where we were disastrous in that first half against them. That was the game when Neto skinned Gomez on the left-hand flank, and it was horrible to watch. But in that first half, we had Cody playing through the middle as the false 9, and in our new system, it just didn't work. So I feel since then, the managers are now playing as an orthodox number 9, and it just doesn't suit him at all. And so, yeah, I don't know what the solution is, but I do think, yeah, if we do want to develop him as a player, we've got to give him a role that's complementary to his skill set, man.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. No ifs or buts, man. 100%.
But also, just my final point on it, though. But I know we said we're saying that he's not necessarily been brought in as a starter. But everyone's got to understand this is a squad game. If we look at Man City rotate, right? And their players understand the assignment. If we are going to really push on consistently and challenge for titles in that way, everyone's got to understand the assignment that, do you know what? You might not get 25 games in starting in the league this season, but you are instrumental to what we need to deliver. And maybe again, that's where it comes down to identifying, and this is where Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes are going to come in now, in terms of identifying the right players who can actually fit into that narrative and do that. Because maybe Gakpo's not one of those guys who can do that. You know, time will tell.
He's still young enough to get a good change for him. So, you know,
I agree with both of you.
Remember, coming to this league, it's a big jump for some of them as well. It's a lot more than what you was playing in before. So he can go somewhere else and probably end up shining.
Yeah.
go to Italy or something like that, or Spain. He'll probably go
That'd
there
be
and do
great.
well.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
And because I think some players can adapt to different tactical roles, and you can have you can have a vision for a player. And apparently, I'm reading something, and I'm not sure how true it is, but apparently, the Gini Wijnaldum playing as a holding midfielder was a Edwards idea as well. In that, obviously, he played number 10. They were looking for a CM because obviously they'd gone for Zielinski and Edwards. So actually, I think this guy could work there. But who knows if it was Edwards or if it's Klopp or both of them. But I guess the point would be, sometimes when you sign a player, you have to let them do what they were doing when you originally signed them. And I just think Gakpo shone playing from the left, where he played his entire career doing a specific type of role. He wasn't a off-the-ball winger. He was a ball-to-feet winger, made things happen, combined with his fullback, cut in, took shots. Well, yeah. And we've never really created a situation that has allowed him to do what we actually signed him for. So I think at some point, yeah, you just have to just decide, okay, what is the future for this player, and just even move them on or not. But
I'd hate to see him leave. I ain't gonna lie. He is, like I say, he's a bit vanilla for me. I'd hate to see him leave, though. I think there's obviously a player there, isn't it?
Yeah,
you see, like I wouldn't.
My only thing is with him, I think if he is to go, it'd just be like he hasn't had a fair crack at the whip to really show what he can do. That's the only thing I'd be thinking if he is to leave. But
And I guess Xavi, and I was just going to say, Xavi Alonso does play that whole inside forward thing. So the two behind the one. So maybe in that role, like who knows, he might kind of, he might. Who knows? He
might excel in that role. But gentlemen, right? You heard the latest news then that PSG looking for a replacement for Kylian Mbappe, and you know who they're looking at?
Not Cody Gakpo, unfortunately. No, I shouldn't have said that.
It's definitely not Cody Gakpo, mate. I can tell you that much.
I shouldn't have said
but
that.
You do know who they're looking at, yeah?
Luis Diaz.
Yeah. Looking at Diaz as the replacement for Kylian Mbappe.
I'd sell him.
You sell him?
I'd sell him.
Right?
In a heartbeat.
Everyone's saying that, Vin. Everyone wants to shot
in
his
a heartbeat. I'd sell him.
You say you'd sell him?
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Enough people are saying this, man. Enough man is saying this, bro.
Why?
In a heartbeat. Because of what I said earlier. I don't think he, for all the great attributes he has, he doesn't. He's a butter knife, man. Right? You can use him, right, to spread. He can do a lot of things, but he ain't sharp enough, mate. He ain't sharp enough to finish, and that is what I think. I think he's got. I like him as a player. Don't get me wrong. I think he's great, but I am also at a point where I could say, you know what? If someone came in and said 80 million, I'll take 80 million, because I believe that Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards would be able to find the right sort of replacements for him to come in. I genuinely believe that. So it's not a personal thing against Diaz. I do like Diaz, but I just don't feel that, and I don't know if the injury plays a part in that, but he gives great effort. He does. He gives 100% every game, but there's just something slightly amiss.
Wow.
Yeah, Listen, Artie, I haven't spoken to a Liverpool fan this week who hasn't been of the same view. And Vinny set the bar quite high and said 80, brother. Man said, bro, if we paid 35, 40 for him, I'm taking 60 and he's gone.
Is that you saying that, or that's what people's telling you?
That other people are telling me, man, 60, 50, they're saying, I can make a profit on this guy. Yeah, gone. Gone tomorrow.
The thing is,
gone tomorrow.
He's only over the last, I say, month or so, 6 to 6 weeks, he's been getting back to his best. Since
Yeah,
what happened with his
agreed.
dad, and that he's been getting back to his best. And
Yeah, but
I still feel there's more to come.
Mm.
And like what I do feel for him as well, like I said, is that Sunday, because he's giving it all you could see, he's knackered. He's not really been able to have a rest.
Played through.
He's played through. He's not being able to have a rest.
Chelsea played the whole game.
This guy makes stuff happen and causes problems, man. And at least he's one of the guys I know when he's on my he's like the guy I want to go to war with. So I know this guy is
100.
all about it.
And he's relentless as well.
You might then get somebody else in, and they ain't about that. Then what?
And yeah, I just think Diaz is relentless.
Yeah, exactly.
Like not only is he a street footballer, but he's a street fighter as well. Like he's up for it. Like 100, he's up for it.
He's one of them guys that you don't as a defender you don't want to play against. Not Diaz, man. You know what I mean? This guy. I don't know, man. I don't know. I won't be in such a hurry to sell him, man. To be honest.
Don't get me wrong. If this was 6 weeks ago, I'd have been like, sell him because my winger, like, I can't watch my winger and the only fullback he's going past is Ashley Young. No. Sell him. But in recent weeks, he's turning it back on, man. And he's still not at his pre-injury level for me, but he's very close to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's getting back there.
And I just think, boy,
the
way he like the way he was Duppy and Carl Walker, like Bernardo Silva, Rodri, like
Carl Walker and Rodri together. Come on.
And there was constant Duppy in as well.
Yeah, but how much end product does he give?
I hear you, Vin. I hear you, bro. I hear you.
That's my thing.
I hear you.
Not enough end product. For all he's great. He's great to look at. Pause. He's great to watch. Yeah, and see him go and run at players and cause problems.
Keeps the ball as well.
Yeah,
he's great for our ball retention.
But there's not enough end product. He's like
I hear that.
I'd agree with
that. He's a more refined Tony Daly. Do you know what I mean? Tony Daly used to run at players all the time. Do it all the time, but the end product was not always there. And that's why I'd take 80 million for him. Don't know if he stays. I ain't got an issue if he stays. Let me be clear. But if someone
what's
said,
the lowest that you would take?
60. I'm gonna put 60 million.
You see, exactly. That's what my man said to me. 60, he's gone, bro.
Because he ain't 100 million. He ain't 100 million pound player.
60, I think we're shortchanging ourselves. Number one. And
how much do you think he's worth?
And you have to remember, he's another one. He ain't old. And I think the thing that will come back to haunt people is that if he does go to like Spain or one of them other leagues, you will see this guy putting up some crazy numbers. And then you will all be like, flipping heck, 60 mil.
How old is he now? 27?
Yeah.
I think about 26, 27. So
he's not going to become prolific.
Coming up to peak times, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's not going to become prolific. I just think there's the way about his game and the way he is, he ain't going to become prolific. It's just not going to happen.
So he was 27 in January.
But you know what? The way there's other things you have to think of as well. It's not just about him being prolific. His style of play has an effect on the defensive team. So playing against him already has the defender on the back foot. That has an effect on the defensive team. You understand? They're already worried about him. They'll be on the back foot. So it's so then saying that that means that other players can get further forward to support. They're managing him. He can cause gaps for other people.
And the thing is as well, it's weird, right? Because He's one of these guys. It's a bit like a Jesus, but it's different. But when I consider how he can strike the ball, how he can pass the ball, you think to yourself, why aren't your numbers better? Because you can actually strike the ball pretty well. Your finishing should actually be better.
He's scored some bangers.
Yeah.
When he's cut inside, he scored some crackers.
And I do think we're gonna have the next couple of games, a couple of maestro moments where he's gonna double your man and he's gonna fling it top corner, man. He's gonna, oh, that was naughty. And I think he's gonna start to showcase a bit more of his individual ability like in the next few games. I'm on the fence with this one because I'd like
to give him one more season.
I like him. And I just like the fact that he can play in numerous positions as well. I think he could actually bang through the middle as well. My personal preference would be to move on Cody and I'd sign another winger. And then, yeah, if I've then got a start in the winger and I'm bringing off Jota and Diaz, I think that's, it's levels. But it's a tricky one, man. I'm on the fence of it. Like, for me, 60 million, no. 70, no. 80.
Can't turn that down, mate.
We'd have to have that conversation. They start talking 75. We'd have to have that conversation.
Okay, question.
I like him, but the question was, would I sell him? If 80 million is on the table, yeah.
Diaz or Matoma?
Say that again?
Diaz or a Matoma?
I think Diaz has got a higher work rate for me. And I think Matoma had a spell. He's not really showing them levels again.
Diaz or Alisi?
Not really. Or Elise. Yeah. But my problem with him, can he stay fit?
Yeah, well,
that's my problem.
Diaz or Martinelli?
That's my problem. Can they stay fit?
Diaz or Martinelli? Oh, Diaz, man. Diaz.
But see, Martinelli's putting up better numbers, though.
See, it's interesting, and I think this is where I'm always unsure of Diaz because. Yeah, because I'll have man say, Diaz is much better than these players. I'm like, do you think he's much better than them? Then, like, why are you looking to sell him if you think that he's much better than these guys? If that makes sense. Because I think Martinelli's cold. I'm not going to lie, bro. I think Martinelli's cold. I know he plays for Arsenal, but I think he's cold. So I just feel like if you think Diaz is maybe top 1 or 2 in the league for his position, 3 maybe, I don't know. Then, like, who are you looking to buy instead?
I just think the reason why you're, like you said, so many people saying we would offload him is just literally because of the fact that the end product. That's what it is.
The numbers aren't there.
That's the reality of it. I think people want him to convert it and turn it around.
Of course.
But they're like, it's just not. It's not enough. And like I say, the Man City game, I don't want to use that as the defining point, but it is a defining point.
100.
No, he had the chance to have a hat-trick.
100. Mane in that game, and realistically, like, he takes at least one.
Mane in that game. So wrap.
Clutch. Yes, clutch. And I think this is what we need to see from Diaz, and I would include Nunes as well, because I think as good as Nunes has been this year, and the improvement has been huge, massive talent, I still need to see something clutch against a big team. This is what I need to see now. I need to see you do something clutch now, innit? Because now we're going into that stage where we need players to basically like build their legends, and it's in these clutch moments now. We've got this crazy running. Where I'm looking for one of these Nunez's long ranges. Again, we're going to have like United coming up, Brighton at home. What else have we got? Spurs at home, and some big moments. Like, can you give me something clutch right now? Because the previous man them were clutch all day.
All day long. Nah, I hear that. So Demas is saying, yeah, Martinelli's a constant thorn against your boys. Yeah. All right.
Listen, that's one reason to sign him alone. Like Trent would love to sign Martinelli. I'd have to play against this brother again.
Play against him. It's all right, man. Next time he comes out, we just put on Bradley. Yeah, let Bradley deal with him. Yeah. So we've got the international break now, which we all hate.
Yeah.
And then when we're back, who we playing when we're back?
I think it's Brighton.
Brighton. Yeah, it is Brighton.
And they've got injuries. I think Matoma's out now for a while.
Yeah, they've had a bit of an up and down. They're going through a bit of a bad patch at the moment, to be fair. Yeah.
We see sometimes this is the thing, right? International break might have come at the right time for them.
Yeah, this is it. You don't know, innit? It's true.
You just don't know. Even like I heard today, and it's funny now, right? I'm just worried we can't afford no more injuries, mate, over this international period. Do you get what I'm saying? Like Saka's pulled out of the England squad through injury.
Conveniently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We know what's going on there. We know what's going on.
Shows them Gabriel as well for Brazil.
Oh, he pulled out.
Yeah, Kanate's now fit. Yeah. He pulled out. But yeah, Kanate, you're not fit enough to play for us. But I see you smiling like a whip your Frenchman then. Just like, nah, bro.
Yeah, see, look, Demas is loving that. Yeah, you're loving that. Yeah, all right, mate. It's all right. I hope you come back and make sure you join us after you not play Man City. Yeah, please do. Make sure. Very interesting.
We'll talk about that at the time, but just a quick one on that game. What do we want for that game?
I think the best thing we could want really is a draw.
Yeah.
That would be the best thing, to be honest.
Draw all day long.
It's a draw
all day long. A draw in that game. I don't want it, but this is what we need. We need Arsenal to beat Bayern, right? But have 2 tough games over 2 days, and we need Man City to beat Real Madrid in 2 tough games over 2 legs, because then they've got to play each other in the semi, and they've got the league games as well. That's what we need. Don't get me wrong, it might mean one of them's going to get to the European, well, it means one of them's getting to the final, but I ain't worried about
as long as it's City.
Yeah, I hear you on that. And the reality is they could do another treble. Imagine they could do a treble again. No one's chatting.
I know, but they're winning the FA Cup. I know. Listen, they won the FA Cup.
It's mad.
It's not nailed on.
100.
It's not nailed. You'd think it is, but it's not nailed on.
Because that Chelsea team, they're funny, innit? They could turn up at any time, innit?
Yeah, that'd be typical Chelsea. Beat Man City and then lose to garbage United.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I could see that happening all day.
Yeah.
It's true, you know. It's
all bloody day.
But that's what we need. We need those guys, those 2 teams there. We need them to be in tough back-to-back situations.
It's not salty, Demas. It's real, bro. It's real. I can't have you not dining at the top table. You get me? Stay in your lane.
See, because maybe I'm showing Arsenal no kind of respect at all. Like, who knows? I'm probably not. I want an Arsenal win. Because, see, in my head, because do you know what it is? Maybe I'm just, as I said, maybe I'm in a bit of denial or something, but I want a big as gap against City as possible. So if you're saying we're like 2 points ahead of them now, right? 2 points or 1 point? I think 1 point. That is 1 point. If you're saying to me, after that weekend, I can be 4 points clear of Man City, and I'm level on points with Arsenal, but they've got a better goal difference than me, I'd take that all day of the week, because these guys are, listen, the Arsenal team can't handle no pressure at all.
No,
None.
we've spoken about that, Doctor. I'm telling you,
Don't say
it's
that,
not
bro.
the same, bro.
It's different.
This is not the same as last. This is not the same Arsenal as last season.
They won't
Oh,
win
no.
19. They won't
I'm
win
telling
19 league games. Like they've won 10 league games at the moment or something. They've got 9 left. I can't see them winning 19 league games.
There you
Right.
go.
But
Did-
I don't know
did
how many I
they-
see that. I don't know how many I see them losing.
Exactly.
Put like this. They were slapping up teams, yeah, big goal differences. Come against Brentford, who can withstand their set piece threat, and a last minute Kai Havertz winner. Well, not last minute, but last few minutes. Now, this is the point. If the referee's doing his job, Kai Havertz in his desperation to win the game for them gets sent off, right? They had the Premier League panel of the weekend and said they should be sent off. That's what I'm saying. These little small margins are going for them. They would have been 10 men down in that game. Like, they're not built for the pressure. Trust me, they're not built for it. They are getting away with it because of small little decisions. Odegaard at Anfield starts playing basketball like he's Iverson. Like, in these little moments, when there's pressure, these guys, like, they're not there for it. Like, Porto, last 16, no idea how to win. Let's just basically like play for set pieces. Like, yeah, I don't
But
see
they
it.
won
Yes,
though,
they're
didn't they? But they won.
Porto's a horrible team to play, though, man.
Yeah.
Porto,
And they still come through it. They still come through it.
Yeah, horrible.
yeah, because their goal, because Porto aren't good. Porto are third in a 3-team league.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's because what I'm saying is when they come now to play against Arsenal and them teams, they're just horrible. They're spoilers. That's what they are. They're spoilers. Horrible brand of football.
The Bayern Munich
European
games
football
will
is.
set the tone for the rest of their season. The Bayern Munich games will set the tone for the rest of their season because even though Bayern Munich aren't playing great at the moment,
No, I feel they can beat them. I feel they can beat Bayern.
and I think
Same.
that will give them a mentality which will make them feel they can beat anyone. That's the thing. And it will then be interesting because, and this is why I want it almost that they do get through, because the Man City games, if they get through, a Man City get through, those Champions League games just become Premiership games because of the level of
Agreed.
intensity.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. We need them to drag each other out for those games. And all of us have got to play Spurs. Spurs, I think, are going to have a big say in where this league title goes.
Of course.
Honestly, like for me, I want Arsenal beating Man City, man. Like, yeah.
Nah.
Like I just don't like. As I said, Arsenal are 100 better than last season. I absolutely agree with that. But there's been a lot of statistical overperformances from their players that's not going to sustain, and there's been small little margins where things are going for them. In it, that doesn't. Well, look, it might last, it might not last. But Arsenal got some tricky games, and I think they will drop points, man. 100.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying though, because I think the reality is that Man City don't lose games.
This is it.
And I guess I can see where you're coming from with that. Is that
I want that.
they need to lose at least that game. Yeah, because they won't. If they lose that game, they're not going to lose any other game after for the rest.
Yeah,
of the season.
exactly. And think Arsenal still got to go to Man United as well.
Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. We got to go there though again.
Yeah, we got to.
So this is it. So Arsenal have got Man U away and they've got Spurs away, right? And then obviously City away in this game. Don't get me wrong. I can see the concern of you don't want to give a team like Arsenal confidence and self-belief, but I just think they're one of these teams where, as confident as they are, they can lose that confidence very quickly. Like, very quickly. Like, I think they're quite I just think their fans are the problem, right? Well, I shouldn't say it like that, but fans get way too carried away. So the moment this double isn't looking like it's going to happen, they just become so panicky and it just switches. It just switches. But yeah, Arsenal with a feel-good team. When it's going well, it's great. They lose a couple of games. We saw Tipper. Yes, Tipper. I hope you're listening. The man came out of the group, said he weren't coming back into the group. Man was trying to style him and like, but you just lost to Fulham, bro. Relax. Man had all kind of politics about why he weren't coming back. Bro, it's your group. Nah, man trying to style. This is Arsenal, bro. Way too carried away. They're almost like bipolar United. Way too high and then way too low. Like, whereas I know that City are just going to be a machine. They're just going to maintain a level. Hence why I just think, Arsenal, stay on top for as long as possible. Because they don't want the
Right. Before we go, I'm still gonna say, for me, I think Arsenal are a better team than last season.
100 they are.
Man City are a worse team than last season. That's what I would say. And this is why personally I would prefer Man City to win that game. Because remember, if Man City win and we win, we're still ahead of them and Arsenal. Whereas if Arsenal win, then they go 4 points ahead of us.
Yeah.
No, so I think our game is before their game, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming it is.
Could be.
Yeah, because I'm
I
assuming.
don't know what time. I don't know what time we're playing Brighton, but yeah, like still, I don't want. No. Man, I need Man City to win that game or a draw.
But you got to think. This is if we've got 3 or 4 games left to play. After this weekend, we've got 10 games to play. 10 games.
How many games left? 8.
So I think
9.
This week is. So I think it's 10 games now.
Oh, 10 games. 10 games. Yeah, 10 games. Yeah.
Do you know, it's funny. I know, as much as you said, Artie, that Man City are not as good as they were last season, or the seasons they are before, and I think you're right. They have become, I think, they just sterilize football. I think they're killjoys. You see us. This is why I think people love Liverpool so much. I'm not saying, I'm not talking that from a biased perspective, but there's an element of jeopardy in how we play. As good as we are, you're getting a football match. With Man City, you're not getting a football match. You're just getting a very sterile, disinfected, controlled, robotic way of playing the game, and it's boring. It's boring, and I think that's the other thing about this situation.
They can grind out, So okay, we played Brighton at 2:00 on Sunday 31st, and then they're then the 4:30 game that day. So we go top if we get our free book. So we're on 64, us and Arsenal, and then City are on 63. So
really?
I'm not gonna.
Wow.
Yeah. Listen, I want a gap against Man City, man. Like,
I do hear you now. I before you said I didn't think about it that way. I think because, like you say, the reality is this: Arsenal, I think we believe, are more likely to drop points than Man City.
Absolutely.
Because if Man City
don't get me wrong,
if Man City lose that game, they ain't losing no other games for the rest of the season.
Don't get me wrong, I do see the angle of
the draw.
You don't want Arsenal to have too much belief. So So maybe one situation where City absolutely batter them, Arsenal get a scant VAR penalty and they win it on a scant, or they win it like how they won it at the Emirates with that like deflected goal. So it's not even a performance that even gives them confidence. But I just think, give me that, because I still think whoever finishes above City wins the league.
Yeah.
I still feel Spurs can take points off them as well.
Are we going unbeaten for the rest of the season now in the league?
I think we are,
We need to be fair. We need to.
We don't really lose games, bro.
We got some tricky games though, man. We got Villa away, innit?
I'm not concerned about that one, Like I just think our style of play, Spurs at home, and I just think after that goal,
we owe Spurs.
Exactly, man.
We owe them.
but they are Spursy, innit? As we've just seen last week. Do you know what I mean? And they'll come up, they'll give us a game. They are proper. They're Spursy back. They're Spursy again. They're Spursy again.
But
mate.
they'll be up for that derby, man. And especially knowing that they can put a dent in flipping in Arsenal winning the league.
Yeah.
They'll be up for that, mate. They'll be up for that.
Arsenal also got Chelsea as well. Okay, it's Chelsea. It's Chelsea at the Emirates, but Chelsea are a tricky team, man.
Yes.
So yes, Arsenal have got what Chelsea, or you said Chelsea, City, United. They might even have Villa again as well.
And Spurs.
I think they do have Villa again.
So there.
Yeah.
That, it's listen,
You-
swings
you-
and
you-
roundabouts. Man.
yeah.
Swings and roundabouts.
You got me kind of thinking now, Dr. Blake, that
I'm telling you,
City,
man.
Yeah.
Put
That
City
Arsenal
into that
wins
rear
in
view
that
mirror,
game.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate.
I hear you.
Let them Arsenal fans sing North London Forever or whatever that tune is that they want to sing, and let Arteta do the fist pumps towards the crowd like he's Klopp. Yeah, just let them believe. And once they believe, we can just focus on winning that Premier League, yeah.
Gentlemen, it has been a blast, I must say. But we're gonna have to call it a day right here. And yeah, we will be back next week. So England, Brazil is what, Saturday?
Yeah.
Interesting game still. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So we'll see. Just all I'm praying for is fingers crossed, no injuries. That's what I'm praying for.
This is it, isn't it?
Right now, this weekend. So next week, because we got no game to talk about, I think you might have to turn up with your pen and papers, lads.
Quiz time. Okay.
Yeah, man, we're gonna get it cracking. We're gonna get it cracking.
Or we do the Jota debate regarding the top LFC finishers, man. We should have done that one yet.
Woo! Do you think we could do that in one show though?
Good point. Maybe we wait for
Yeah, we might have to wait till
pre-season,
the end of
maybe.
season
Yeah,
and run that because that is gonna woo.
What's
There's
that for the
some
season of? Is that for the season of all time?
best finishers of all time?
Oh wow!
Man, it's talking about. That's what I'm saying. So there'll be some names to go through. That can't be done in one show. We'd have to do that in a series of shows.
Yeah,
So like when the season's over now, I think we can do that in a series of shows. I think at least if we do 3 shows, I reckon we can get that. We can get that. Yeah, we'll go 3 shows and then we can say, yeah, after that we can come up with our number 1, 2, and 3.
Need Jota back, man, because look, if we can be on top before he comes back, because you just know when you've got him to draw on, you do not have to be good to win games. You just need to give him a sniff and bang.
Yeah. And the net is bulging. Simple.
Dinner finished.
Simple.
Yeah.
Vinny, thanks for joining us, my brother. Been a
No
blessing
problem.
as usual.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me on, gentlemen.
No problem, man. Dr. Blake, my brother.
Yeah, it's been blessings, man. And Vin, man, I'll just keep that FBI safe house looking fresh, my guy, man.
You get me? Vinny's on the run, mate. He's on the run.
I'm gonna go tinkle the ivory. I'm gonna go tinkle the ivories now. Play a tune.
Peoples, do remember, join us next week. We will be here same time, same place. All about Cop Talk, 10 o'clock each and every Thursday. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It's always good to share.